Hi guys, thank you for watching another video. So I've been thinking a lot about the art of turning tragedy into triumph. And I think about this a lot as a writer as well as just a human being. Because when life gives us all of these messy, terrible, brutal experiences, we then have to turn it into a narrative that makes sense somehow, that has connection and wisdom and elegance to it, a cohesion, really. Um, and especially, I've been thinking about this more often than ever because of the Me Too movement, which has been so significant for all of us. And as now we are moving into the next stage, which is now what? Me Too, now what? How do we take our stories of pain and how do we heal and rise from that pain? What do we do now? How do we take those terrible, brutal, messy parts of life and find some sort of cohesive narrative that allows us to rise and move forward? And from what I can gather, there's 5 main principles to the art of turning tragedy into triumph. And I don't necessarily mean triumph like, oh, now I've risen to the summit, this golden summit of success and fame and wealth. No, I mean triumph as in peace of mind, a loving spirit in our hearts, strength, resilience to move forward in our lives. That's what I feel triumph is. That's what authentic triumph is. That's what it means to be an authentic success as a human being. Not the shiny, glittery things, but to know yourself and feel strong, so strong that you're able to go after the greatest expansion of yourself. So, the first principle to turning tragedy into triumph is that to resolve the story, to obtain true lasting forgiveness, the fairy tale must die. So, something that nonfiction as well as fiction writers go through and human beings go through is that when we embark on a story, we have an idea, whether we're conscious of it or not, we have an idea of what our desired ending is, and then a chapter in, or 2 or 3 or 10 chapters in, we find ourselves frustrated or even blocked. A kind of writer's block settles in because suddenly it feels like the narrative threads, the characters in this narrative as well, they're not moving towards our desired resolution. And our frustration grows until we find ourselves just unable to go through this chapter to get into the next chapter and the next and the next. I believe all suffering in life comes from us battling against the incoming traffic of information, of challenges, of tasks, of characters coming our way. Instead of us moving with the natural pace and direction of that traffic, we try to just battle against it. And that's how suffering happens. That's friction right there. And so, one thing that was happening when I was writing my memoir was I realized I had started it thinking I knew what the ending would be, that I knew what this, the resolution and the lessons I wanted to arrive at were. But then as I was going through the book and going through the different experiences, I realized my expected, preconceived ending, I had to let that go because the narrative started revealing its own direction. And I've gone through that in relationships before as well, where I've, on one day been able to wake up and feel total peace of mind towards a person, and then the very next day wake up and feel like I'm burning with resentment and rage against something he or she did or said years ago. And I found myself being so confused, like, oh, but I thought I had forgiven them. No, I hadn't. Because for true lasting forgiveness, we have to let go of that preconceived expectation of what should have happened, how they should have behaved, how life should have behaved. A huge thing that we need to forgive, that we I think so often we associate the word forgiveness with only human characters, but there's also a forgiveness that comes with life, with having to forgive our life narrative for having the kind of experiences and events that it did. I had to do that with my own sexual assault. I had to find it in my heart to forgive my life for having gone through something like that. And I realized that until I did that, I didn't have true peace of mind and clarity of heart. And once I was able to let go of the fairy tale ending, the fairy tale life, the fairy tale expectations that we're all, whether we're conscious of it or not, we kind of start believing in as young kids. Once I let go of the fairy tale, the story could resolve. I could move into the next chapter and the next and the next. So consider that the next time you find yourself burning with anger and wondering why you haven't been able to forgive that person or that memory, that event, that chapter in your life. Have you let go of the fairy tale of what could have been, what should have been? The thing is, the only story we have is the one we are living. And that's actually an incredible thing. The story that we have is the one that we are the main character and author of. We get to decide how we react to our narrative. And this in itself is incredibly empowering. We get to decide, okay, things have happened, and now I will behave not in a disempowering way, but in an empowering way. I will empower myself with the gift of forgiveness. Thank you for watching. I'm sending you so much love, as always, on your journey.